is the Girl Chat International podcast.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey! Welcome to the Girl Chat International podcast, where we talk about modern day topics and aim to cultivate a safe and empowered community across the globe. We are so excited for this episode. This is a current event exclusive, a pop culture exclusive that we're doing today. But first, let's get to our empowering questions. And this week's question is, if you could go back in time, what would you say to yourself? So, Hersyn, what would you say to yourself?
If I could go back in time, I would say to myself, I would tell myself, do not focus so much on boys. Stop begging to be in someone's life. Doesn't matter if it's a friendship or a romantic relationship. Just know your worth. Yeah, know your worth. And don't beg.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
That's what I would say to myself.
And then what I would say to myself is, if you want it, you're going to get it because you work your butt off. And just be positive. Don't tell yourself it's not possible. Just keep looking at the end goal and go, go, go. It's going to happen. That's what I would tell myself. To just stay positive.
That's lovely.
Great. I love it. I love it. So, as I was saying before, today's episode, this is a pop culture exclusive, okay? This is an event that just happened within the last week. And we're also talking about an event that happened a few months ago. And this is the breakup of Ariana Grande and her soon-to-be ex-husband, as well as Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn's breakups. And we will talk about how can we apply the concepts, the themes that come up in these breakups to our own lives, and some of the hot button issues that come up with it. So we're going to start with Ariana Grande. So as per People magazine, Ariana Grande and her soon-to-be ex-husband, Dalton Gomez, are now separated after 2 years of marriage. Grande has decided to come back into the dating scene, and interestingly enough, she is now dating her Wicked co-star Ethan Slater. It seems a continual long-distance marriage is what separated Dalton and Gomez. Gomez was always traveling as a luxury real estate agent, and Grande has been in the UK filming Wicked. There's also some off-the-record type of allegations out there, and we say allegations because we haven't heard it from Grande or Gomez, but it really makes you wonder, because allegedly people saw Dalton out in the club when he was married.
I heard that too.
Dancing with other ladies and being flirty with other women when he was supposedly supposed to be married and committed to the queen, Ariana Grande, allegedly. And now there's allegations that Gomez is religious and wants to make it work. But it's like, okay, I have a problem with that. I feel like I'm triggered because I've dated men who are religious, but they're like doing those things. Like one guy, he flirted with 3 women in front of me, and I didn't say anything. And at the end of the night, he goes, "Did I do anything wrong?" What a mind game. And I've had guys show me their DMs flirting with women and then go, "I'm religious." You're not religious. You're a cheater. What are your thoughts as we're talking about this? Are you triggered at all?
Of course I'm triggered. I've also heard allegedly like news from TikTok. Not sure if it's true or not, but I've also heard that Gomez couldn't handle Grande's fame because apparently in the pandemic, like, everyone was in mask and stuff like that. So he didn't know that Ariana Grande was the Ariana Grande.
Oh my gosh.
But how can you not know? No, how can you not know that you're dating the Ariana Grande when probably you slid into her DMs as well? And of course, you have her on your Instagram. She has how many million followers? Mm-hmm. So how can you say, of course, we don't know how true is this, but if it's true, how can you not know that your wife is that famous? And are you that insecure?
Yeah.
That you don't like all the paparazzis following her, you want her to lay low on the internet. And yeah.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Why wasn't there a conversation when they were dating? Or if there was, why wasn't he honest? Not me over here blaming the man. I'm dying right now. Some people are probably listening. Oh, she's a feminist.
Yes, we are. Of course, we are a feminist.
But did they jump into the marriage too soon is a question I have, because as someone who has been a couples counselor, that's a problem. People do not have those conversations of, tell me more about your career and how it might impact our relationship. Do you have to travel a lot? Have you ever cheated? Do you have a wandering eye? Like, really icky conversations need to be had so that couples know what they're getting into.
Also finance. Yes. Talk about your finances, please. You don't want to end up being bankrupt or, with a broke partner. Yeah.
Because it seems, okay, so Grande obviously makes good money doing what she does. Gomez, I mean, he's a luxury real estate agent, so literally 2 sales a year makes him like a millionaire. But just because people make money doesn't mean that they're living like that millionaire, because a lot of individuals, they'll make a lot of money and then waste it on like a pimped out car, or just these huge things, and then they have no money to pay their bills. So finances is really important. Are you investing? Do you have a retirement fund? Because couples fight over finance. Other thoughts, Hersyn?
I think also the long distance came in this relationship. So as someone,
yes, that's exactly, you're going on the exact route I was going to ask you. Tell me about your experience with long distance relationship, because I know you've had one. And then, would you ever do it again?
I've had a few long distance relationships. Yeah, but I think it all depends on your partner as well. If you have someone who is a loyal one and you broke up mutually because of the distance. So I've been in a relationship with this ex of mine. So as someone who's been in a long distance relationship, it's hard because of the distance, and then the pandemic came in play, and communication is a huge thing. Like, you have to be talking all the time. Okay, not all the time. We're all adults here, we're busy, but every day you need to talk. But also sometimes, I mean, the trust have to be there. You have to have trust. Obviously, you have to have trust if you want to be in a relationship. So you have to have extra trust when you want to be in a long distance relationship. And there are challenges, time differences and stuff like that. So I guess probably that came into play with Ariana's marriage. And, the time difference, because like she was in the UK, right? and he's in the US. So I think there's a huge time difference there. And also, yeah.
So what does it feel like when the long distance relationship is secure and safe versus what would it feel like if a long distance relationship was not secure or safe?
If it's secure or safe, you wouldn't even be worrying about the person if he's cheating on me or whatever. Like in a recent relationship that I've had, you know, I wasn't even worried because like he would update me all the time where he was, what he's doing with his friends. He would send a clip of his friends. His friends would be telling me, hey, don't worry, you know, your man is with me. And also on iPhone, if you're an iPhone user, you're an Apple user, we have this 360 app where you can see where the person, you know, is and all that. And we have that app with each other, and that's how you know that your person is, you know, actually doing what they're saying. Compared to a relationship that's not safe and secured, where you're always wondering if the person is cheating on you and who he's talking to. So I've been on both ends. And if you ask me if I would do a long distance relationship again, I will say no, because as you grow older, you have more expectations, you have more wants and needs. I would rather be in the same in the same time zone and country, you know, because you can have that physical touch, that quality time that you crave. So yeah, as someone in this in late 20s, I wouldn't be in a long distance relationship again, because I want my partner to be there with me, to go through life together. It's hard when it's long distance. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree. I do not want to be in a long distance relationship. I remember there's been a few times where I've matched with people who were long distance on apps by accident. It wasn't even, I don't really know how I matched with them because I didn't have my settings that far, but I like with this one person, I almost tried, but then we did some FaceTimes, and within those FaceTimes, I noticed a lot of toxic communication pattern. Like he was already rude over like simple things, and he didn't even really know me yet. So I was like, whoa, imagine if this guy like met me in person and really knew me. He would probably, it was just so red flag. So I do not want a long distance relationship. The hopeless romantic in me says never say never, but it doesn't feel like something for my nervous system right now. I would be very anxious, and it's annoying to not know when you're going to see the person. I want to actually build a life with someone, not be distant. And like you said, it's the age. I feel that once you're like
late 20s, 30s,
late 20s to your maybe 30, whatever, you want to find someone that's going to last hopefully forever, or at least a very long time. So why would we go in long distance? It's tough. I know some people, it's like they're looking for a very niche type of person, so going long distance does help. And it worked for them, and I love that. I mean, I guess I'm kind of sometimes looking for a very specific type of person, but still I'm not really down for it. And then my assumptions of what that might feel like if you're being cheated on by your long distance partner is they stop answering your calls. And this is me going from relationships I've been in that were not long distance. This happened. It's terrible. And you know what? It's always the same. Like they disappear and this is not even long distance, they would like disappear for a week and not want to see me. Like, if you don't want to see me, that's a sign that you're probably cheating.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I'm laughing, but it's actually really awful. Like, my coping mechanism is comedy. But in the moment I was like, oh, they're just going through a rough time. No, they're probably got a whole other girlfriend or side chick. So they would not pick up their calls when maybe in the past they picked up on the first ring. They don't respond to text messages. They don't even care to check in with you and see how you're doing. So imagine if that's happening long distance. That is really stressful. It's already stressful enough when it's not long distance, but wow. So what were you going to say?
I wanted to say I don't need to imagine because I've experienced it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really hard when you break up because you're long distance, right? And obviously the breakup wouldn't be nice. So you would break up on the phone or on FaceTime.
Right.
And it's horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So that's why thinking about like coming to think about the breakup and stuff like that. So that's why I wouldn't recommend long distance.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, rather than being in the same space and time, and country, it's easier because like the person is there. You can talk it out and you can solve things. But if it's long distance, if you've decided you don't want it, you don't want it. But if the person is there with you, if it's not long distance and it's the person is right in front of you, you can actually fix things. I feel you can fix things. So that's my take on it.
I dated someone who was like 15 minutes away, and he didn't want to fix things in person.
No, I mean, you can have the slight chance of fixing.
Yeah. But also that's like a blank boy. Insert the blank with a curse word. So
what I
was dealing with was most likely an F boy. Or no, definitely was. That's a whole other podcast, but I remember I was in the apartment with him and his roommate's girlfriend, and they were calling him an F boy. They were literally giving me the signs. And that's another thing. Even if you're long distance, maybe they have a roommate, flatmate, whatever they call it, and that person could be like, he's a loser in the background. We always have to listen to the signs around us. But also, last thing on long distance, I would never be in a long distance marriage. Never. Like, maybe I would stumble into a long distance relationship for a very short amount of time. Like, say if the guy had to go somewhere. Okay, sure. I would be open. Just if we knew, okay, he's going to be here for a month and then he's back. But a long distance marriage, forget that. When I'm married to someone, they will be with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Forever. So I can imagine for Dalton and Ariana, that was really stressful, right? Imagine a long distance marriage.
Yeah.
That feels a little weird. It's like cognitive dissonance. So like on one hand, you're married to this person, but on the other hand, they're not even there. So you don't feel married. And maybe that's why Dalton was at the club, allegedly hitting on other women. But also like this is a side note. Something that I have a big issue with, and other people I know too have said this, actually, like a few women brought this up this week. How are these men cheating on these beautiful women or passing up beautiful women who are successful? Are they insecure? I think they're insecure.
Yeah. I think definitely, I don't want to blame you, but I think they are insecure.
Yeah.
Like Joe Alvin.
So we're going to dive a little bit deeper and go further into the insecurities that happen in relationships. Taylor Swift and
my mother
Alwyn
Swift, my mother.
broke up after 6 years together earlier this year. 6 years. That's a long time.
That was a shock. Like, that was shocking. I was
Shocking.
like, what?
Came out of left field. And according to People magazine, they've had rough patches before, but they always worked things out. So friends thought they would take some time apart, but eventually come back together, says the source, noting that ultimately Swift and Alwyn weren't the right fit for each other. Joe has allegedly struggled with Taylor's level of fame and the attention from the public, and the differences in their personalities have also become harder to ignore after years together. So they've grown apart, and that was the reason for the breakup. So what were you going to say about Taylor and Joe?
I am just going to say, Mr. Joe Alvin, like, if this news is true, how can you not know that you're dating the Taylor Swift? Like, and I mean, looking at her songs from Midnight and
they
those
wrote
albums
together.
Yeah. And they went through the pandemic together. So I thought they would come out stronger, because, like, I'm just shocked. Like, what? Is this even true? What's your take on this?
Yeah, my take on this is a lot of couples started during the pandemic, so they decided to be on each other's like quarantine crew or whatever. Those were the people that they were allowed to be around, or the only person. It seems that Joe and Taylor were just together the whole time, just them.
And they recorded the whole album. They wrote the whole album. So, like,
that's what they were doing. So that's like a big bonding experience. So essentially, when couples started in a pandemic scenario, there's no social events to attend together. You don't get to see them with their family early on or their friends early on, because people might change. Also, it's just so, it's different. There's not busy schedules and having to make time for each other. There's not that high stress when it's just you two in your own love bubble. So those pressures probably brought out some of the worst in them that were not compatible. And since they were isolated, Joe had Taylor all to himself. This wasn't the same when they got out of the pandemic, and she's being followed by paparazzi, and she's so in demand and everybody wants her, and she's planning her world tour. So for him, that was a shock. Like, oh wait, I don't get her all to myself, and I want that in a relationship. Unfortunately, it sucks that they didn't talk about it beforehand.
but I think,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I mean, they've dated 6 years. The pandemic was like 2020. It's 2023. So, like, 3 years ago. And they've been 6 years. So he's
so they've been dating since before the pandemic.
Yeah. So I'm sure, obviously, you know that she's the Taylor Swift and everyone loves her, and she's always being followed, which she herself said she don't like it. You know, it triggers her. But going back to this topic, so how can you not know that? Obviously, you can't have her all to yourself. How can you not know, Dalton, that Ariana is that famous? You see, it all goes back to, like, I'm just thinking, like, what are you insecure about? Like, what?
I have a feeling. So
she makes more money than you?
Yes, because it's triggering for some men when a woman is successful and beautiful and strong.
It's always triggering.
And rich. Because societally, men have been taught to be the breadwinners, so there's a lot of pressure on them to be this like alpha male or whatever, and they have this pressure on them that they shouldn't really, now in 2023, should no longer be the pressure. It needs to be pushed off, but there is that pressure, and I guess it gets taken out on the women because in our societies, this global society wasn't built for women. So then we get the brunt of it, and I don't like it. I mean, I've been in this situation. I've been the successful woman, and it's too much for a guy. He's like, oh my gosh, I don't even have my crap together. Like, how can I guarantee you still want to be with me in a few years from now? And it's just like, what? I'm me. I'm Aubrey. I wouldn't leave someone if I love them, you know?
You see, you make perfect sense now. They could have thought like that. They could have maybe not insecure, but they could have been afraid, of losing that person. So rather than losing the person, it's best if they just leave first. That's what most men do. They leave before they get left.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I'm out. I'm tapping out. Or in some circumstances I've dealt with, they will literally like stop talking to me or kind of try to ghost me or breadcrumb because they want me to do the breakup. Oh, that's such an ugly feeling when the guys, honestly, that's happened to me so much, where they just kind of disappear. So I'm the one that does it. And that hurts so bad. Oh
and
my
they'll
gosh.
be like, you deserve better. Like, yes,
no one
I
ever
deserve
told me
better.
that.
Okay.
Actually, oh wait, let me stop. One guy said, he goes in a text, because he didn't want to do it face to face in person, even though I tried to break up with him a few times before. In the text, he goes, I can't be the man you want me to be. And I was like, what the heck? Decent? Normal? Yeah. Okay, anyway. It's a struggle out here. But I don't think I ever met a man who said you deserve better. I think I've had men in their apologies say to me that I deserved to be treated with the love that I give.
It's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing. They're just telling you deserve better.
Yeah, but without saying it because it will hurt their ego.
I've gotten that so many times. You deserve better. You deserve someone of your level. Like, thank you for acknowledging that you're not on my level.
Right. Exactly. That's what they're doing.
So I think this is what happened with Alvin and Gomez. This is what we think happened, okay?
Yeah, this is our psychological deconstruction. We believe that it's hard out here when you have a woman who's like, she has attention. So that's another thing. I've been in relationships where men didn't want me to get any attention from any men, and I wasn't warranting the attention. It just happens sometimes. You get attention randomly. People come up to you, or
if you're
they try to DM you.
Yeah, if you're a public figure, if you're an influencer, obviously people will DM you. It's not your fault.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And I would say in my circumstances, it wasn't even my DMs. I just know that there's a lot of women out there who do get those DMs. But for me, it was either likes on posts or comments on posts. It's like, who is that man and why is he commenting? And so men get, I don't really know what to call that, but I didn't care though about those other guys' likes.
Yeah.
I never cared.
Because when we love someone,
I loved
we
who
truly
I was
loved
with.
that one man. Yeah,
I didn't care about anybody else. And but was that reciprocated? Probably not, unfortunately.
So I guess you outgrow people, and And yeah, but I also want to say that divorce is such a taboo in the Asian community. Obviously, it's it's not a taboo in the Western world,
Right.
but it is here. So, I mean, in a way, kudos to Ariana Grande for actually getting a divorce. And, you know, I don't know who initiated the divorce, but like, at least they're not staying in that toxic relationship. They know that they've outgrown each other, and it's time to get a divorce, I guess. And I'm proud that, in a way, like, I mean, they're not staying, you know, in that toxic relationship and like people pleasing, I guess. Like, yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if they were cheating on each other allegedly,
Yes, yeah,
that marriage is done, you know? So
it's better to get a divorce than to cheat. So
yeah.
if you're hearing this and if you're in a marriage that is doomed, I highly recommend to get a divorce.
Oh my gosh, you're telling our viewers, our listeners to get a divorce.
No. I'm saying because in the Asian community, a lot of people stay in toxic marriages. And the kids, us, we are the kids of such byproducts. So
I hear what you're
I'm saying
don't do that. Don't do that to your kids.
Yeah, don't do that to your kids. Don't even have kids, like divorce.
In the US, divorce, it goes 50-50. So in some cultures, it's more that taboo, you can't do that, and there's a lot of shame. So there's that piece. And then in majority society is, yes, get the divorce if if there's cheating, if abuse, those things. Because yeah, I mean, someone's mental health is at stake. I would never, if you're listening to this and really awful things are happening to you in your marriage and you're considering trigger warning like suicide, or you're worried for your safety, you do need to get out of that. Definitely go to couples counseling and talk through it, so that when you do make that, not for those who are being abused, for those who are going through issues that they're not that extreme, but you both are starting to hate each other. As the counselor, I have to say this too, like, go to couples counseling, talk through it. The couples counselor, their goal is to not prevent you from getting a divorce. It's to have you communicate, and then you both decide what's best for your relationship. And I say this so that you have no regrets. You did all the communication possible with a third party in the room, and then you can make your decision. Because I know in the US, sometimes we are quick to make decisions and then have regret, because everything's very fast here. So it's okay to go to couples counseling. Even if you're in a healthy relationship, you could go to couples counseling. It actually will strengthen your relationship. So with Taylor Swift, something I really love about her, and in general, her message, first of all, her music is so nice when you're going through heartbreak, breakups, whatever it is, because it's very empowering. And when I see her, she's having this amazing tour. It's a world tour. She's selling out stadiums in the United States. These are huge football stadiums, American football stadiums.
Hello, not only in in America, like, I wanted to buy tickets for Australia and the tickets sold out in like 3 hours. And then I wanted to buy for Singapore and the tickets sold out in 2 hours. So around the world.
Yeah. So globally, she's just selling out. Yeah, I said that about the football stadium, so people could literally Google what an American football stadium looks like, because she's selling those out and they're huge. Google it. Oh my gosh, they're huge. And in Philadelphia, one of the cities near me, there was about like 20,000 people who couldn't get tickets, so they went in the parking lot and listened from there. It was just insane. A drone went over. It's just like, whoa, this woman.
That's
But
gonna be me in Singapore. Because I couldn't get
yes,
tickets, so I'll just
yeah,
be
you're gonna
out
go.
there.
There you go. Do it. Do it.
Or maybe I'll just, paraglide inside, or I don't know.
Anything. Or maybe she'll pull you in because she'll have a sign that she really loves. So I say that all because it's so cool to see. Okay, she had the breakup pretty much right before she went on tour, or during the tour.
No. It was during the tour, because he attended her few tours, like during the beginning in America. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So at the beginning of the tour, they broke up. And she's still killing it. She's going out to her shows and literally healing people with her music. And she's having
healing
the time
herself as well.
Yeah, she's having the time of her life. And that's really inspiring. She doesn't care. She's 33 and single again, but living her best life, healing. And I'm excited to see when she finds her next committed relationship down the line. But I also just love that she's killing it in her career and having fun. And that reminds me of, I made a reel on my Truthfully Yours blog, and it says, and it's very similar to what Taylor's doing because I've been working on it myself. If you're struggling with the end of a relationship, find something that excites you. After a breakup, one of the challenges is figuring out a new routine. By having a passion project, you find a new way to fill time you used to spend with your partner. And Taylor's doing that beyond. But yes, go. Yeah. I'm passing it back on.
I saw her crying on a TikTok video in one of her shows. The song was I Don't Want to Live Forever. That was by Zayn and Taylor Swift. And her voice, breaks singing the line, wondering if I've dodged a bullet or just lost the love of my life, while she sang it. And it was so sad to see, like, she was crying, but she still had to, carry on the performance and act like she's okay, but she's not. So it's really inspiring because these women are killing it out there. And I think it's really inspiring to all of us, it's hard, but you got to accept to find peace, and you got to let go, and you just got to keep going. So if someone like Taylor Swift can do it, then all of us can do it.
That reminds me too, there's a video of Katy Perry right before she got on stage for her tour. She got a text message or something like that from Russell Brand that he filed for divorce.
I heard about it. Yes.
So she's like sobbing, and they're like, do you want us to just cancel the show? And she said, no, I'm doing it. But it was super painful for her. And then all of a sudden she's in her like candy outfit and popping up on stage, like having to put on a show. I relate to her because I go through breakup, and then I have to teach in front of my students, and I have to be okay. And that's actually really hard. So when I think about those moments, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, women are
soft and strong at the same time.
Yeah. We could be sobbing behind backstage or in my office or wherever, and then boom, on stage, ready to go. So if you're listening to this and you're going through a breakup, know that we're with you. And we know that it's really hard, and what we all have to keep doing is push and keep living your life, and eventually you'll find a pattern again. So on that note, I think it's time for our end of the episode affirmations. So, Hersyn, you have some funny parody ones for us.
So basically, we end the podcast with affirmations every time. And today I was scrolling through Instagram to find affirmations, and I stumbled upon this page. It's called Affirmations Global Self Hypnosis. And it's so funny. So the first affirmation that literally made me laugh out loud was, my contribution to society is cool pictures on Instagram. And the next one is, I start this week by injecting serotonin. And I think that's a good one for us to say every Monday. It's like, I start this week by injecting serotonin. I'm going to have a great Monday. I'm going to conquer this week. And also, if, we are all working adults and we always deal with some colleagues whom are, you got to deal with them at work. And this affirmation said, engaging in human conversation is easy. So I think it's funny. Oh, the last one would be, sometimes when you're having headache and you start Googling your symptoms, I think we should stop doing that. So the affirmation is, I won't develop fatal disease after Googling symptoms at 3 a.m. So on that note, I hope you
have an awesome day,
night, afternoon, wherever you are.
Yes, you are loved, and we are looking forward to interacting with you in the comments on Instagram or a poll. We definitely want to hear your opinions and feedback so that we can continue to make this podcast what you would like it to be. So have an awesome day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram at Girl Chat International. That's Girl Chat INTL on Instagram. If you want to follow some of Hersyn's content, follow Daisy Girls on a Roll, and follow Aubrey's content on truthfully.yours.blog. See you all soon on our next episode.